All right, all right, all right. Good Saturday morning to everybody that's tuned in. This is the April edition of the Kings Cort podcast. We're coming to you early in the morning for one time. This is shout out to Ant for the early morning show.
Good
Somebody
morning.
say
Morning, morning.
9:30.
Buenos dias.
Also, for y'all that's coming into the stream now, we StreamYard love us enough to give us a QR code. So if you have not subscribed to our Facebook page, the QR code is above. It works. So don't be coming on here talking about it don't work. It worked.
It worked. It's legit.
Thank you, Facebook.
It's legit. And
So
also,
what exactly does it do though?
I guess it run our followers up so they can see, they can
Yeah,
keep up with us because the
Facebook,
show's
yeah.
live on there.
it gives easier access to the pages. Like it skips a whole bunch of steps. And also
Got you.
on that page, they'll also be able to find our YouTube channel, which they can subscribe there, and also our Instagram page, and they can subscribe there. So, yep, it's a multifunctional tool.
Okay.
Okay, big words.
We moving on up there. Y'all, what we talking about today?
Today is about accountability.
Accountability, the conversation that nobody wants to talk about.
Huh.
You ain't lying.
Have
wanna
all the
blame-
niggas. Dang. We ain't even 30 seconds in.
Golly, that coffee kicked in already. I see. Okay.
Tag all the. You know what? Tag everybody. I hate I'm the only female on here today. Cause boy, I'm gonna eat y'all alive about this accountability stuff.
Oh, I bet.
I'm gonna eat y'all alive because it just seemed like I'm not gonna say all y'all, but we are living in a day and time for real. And I'm not even just talking about men. I'll say women too. We just don't like this word.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah.
And we misuse it. We say we being accountable, but we really not.
Sounds good though.
Saturday morning.
Like y'all loud.
we say we do, but we really don't.
In the words of Kevin Samuels, accountability is kryptonite. I'm not gonna say the other two words because I don't want to cause up a storm, but I'm just gonna end it right there.
No, what are the other two words? I didn't.
For women.
Huh?
For women.
She walked right into that. That's crazy.
What?
I tried to
I asked.
save you.
I know,
Yeah.
I didn't walk into it. I asked. So if I'm asking, then I wanted to know. But again, look who it came from.
Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a while. It's been a while.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
That's
But no, I
another
agree with
topic
y'all.
for another day.
Accountability is one of those topics where some people really don't know how to actually apply it, or they use accountability based on what they want to hear. Like they'll say, "Though I want you to, I'm going to hold you accountable," because they want you to basically go along with what they're saying, rather than, "Hey, let's both come to the table. If something we both messed up on, cool, we can both leave it there and keep it moving." Some people can't accept it because they feel like they are right in a situation. So if you, one thing about accountability, you got to understand you're not going to always be right in the situation. I wish it worked like that, but it don't work like that. So you got to be willing to take accountability, because that sometimes strengthens you as a person. If you're the type of person where every time something goes wrong, is everybody around the world did something wrong but me, then you are the problem to start off with, because you're not going to grow out of that. So this is a very good topic to discuss. And like Cort said, it's not just men or women, it's people in general. And then you also have to be careful, because people look at the way that you operate when it comes to taking accountability. If you're the type where you're going to pivot every time someone, like let's say if there's a situation where you may have did something wrong, but hey, this person made me do it, that also isn't taking accountability either. So you got to be willing to accept that sometimes you're not right in the situation.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people confuse, it's not that they're confusing it, but you can't, accountability is not justification.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot try to justify your actions or your behaviors and call it accountability. That's not being accountable. Accountability and justification are two totally different concepts. But I feel like a lot of people claim accountability while really what they're trying to do is justify their actions and behaviors. It's not the same.
And
It is not. So I really
that's
want to talk about what does accountability look like for everybody, because I think one of the problems is that accountability looks different to different people, right? So the reason why I did the flyer the way I did this time is because I'm interested in the textbook definition of accountability, right? Because when we look at a definition of something, we have to accept it for what it is, which means that we really technically should be looking through the same lens when it comes to what this word is and what it really means. Not our own lens, not what we feel like it means, not what it looks like for us. No, what does it actually mean? And I feel like if we look at what it actually means, then maybe, just maybe, we can all kind of, readjust and actually start taking this word seriously and using it for what it's for.
Well, I'm glad. Well, I mean, I already had the definition up, but Nate, uh, I can read it. So basically, accountability is the obligation. This is how Google defines accountability. This is from the where Merriam-Webster. Accountability is the obligation or willingness to accept responsibility on actions and provide explanations for outcomes, often involving liability for results. It involves avoiding excuses, taking ownership of tasks, and accepting consequences, and ensures transparency, trust, and performance improvement in personal, professional, and public context. The one word I really like right there is willingness. In order for anyone to take accountability, they have to be willing to accept responsibility. They have to be willing to accept the consequences. This isn't just a thing where, oh, I did something wrong. Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, why did you do what you did? Okay, what is the root of why you did what you did? Like, let's call accountability. It causes you to really dig deep down to the root of the thing and see why you did what you did. What made you feel okay to do what you did? And I feel like once we get to the root, instead of thinking surface level, then we will see the true purpose. We will see the true we'll see the true fruit of accountability. So accountability, it ain't on just anybody else, it's on everybody. It's on the person itself, because you have to own up to those actions at the end of the day, and you have to accept the consequences, because there are consequences to what we do on this earth, whether good or bad. There are consequences. So I think that if we learn how to get to the deep root of things, then we'll truly get some change. So yeah.
So how easy is it for y'all to I think I'm gonna say something and then I'm gonna ask something. I think for a lot of us, it's easier for us to expect someone else to hold themselves accountable, or we hold other people accountable, but it's a little harder to hold self accountable. So my question is, how easy is it for each of you to hold yourself accountable in a situation?
Well, considering that everything is men's fault, I'm just playing. Oh,
I didn't say that.
but you didn't deny it.
I
Oh,
guess
no, real talk though. It's real easy for me to accept accountability, especially if it's something that I did. Um, I don't really do the blame game, especially if I did the thing. Like, I'm not finna step on your toe and be like, "Oh, you should have not been in my way." Nah, I did it, and I'm tell you why I did it, and I accept my responsibility. I accept consequences in that. So it's real easy for me to accept accountability for sure.
Wait, were you about to say something, Nate?
I'll let you go ahead.
No, I think I've always been a lot of people. I think when it comes to the issue of taking accountability, a lot of people aren't really capable of self-reflection, like honest self-reflection, and really looking back at a situation and it's like, what role did I play in getting myself into the situation? Whether it's like a work-related thing, a personal relationship, whatever it might be. And I think that's really the first step. And that's hard for a lot of people, being able to look in the mirror and actually like seeing like what your flaws are, what you could have potentially done better, to keep yourself from getting into a situation that's not really good for you. Especially with work. Like I feel like a lot of people with work, it's like it's always the thinking is always like, oh, but my manager doesn't do this, or um, whatever it might be. The reason why I haven't gotten to where I want to be in my career is because of other people. And the first step to really taking that journey of bettering yourself is figuring that out, figuring out what you could potentially do better, what you could have done different, um, the different approach you could have taken in order to put yourself in the best position to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I'll say that I can definitely take it way easier now than I was I think with me, well, I think with a lot of people, accountability gets better as you get older and get more experience in a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because to me, it's a little tougher when you're younger because at that time you're still trying to kind of figure out who you are. But as in our stage, we're all in our 30s, we're all able to say, okay, if I've done something wrong, let me hear where I messed up at so I can understand where I may have messed up, because it could be a learning lesson for the future. And there's a lot of people that don't understand that sometimes in accountability, you learn how to better yourself so you know how to approach a situation different. And it's okay and also you have to understand when it comes to accountability, you got to be willing to not only accept accountability, but you got to know you can't expect everyone to feel the same way that you're feeling in that moment. So when it's a clear situation where you know it's something to be held accountable for, the first thing is make sure that you understand is that you are willing to listen to the individual that's bringing it to your attention, because it can be a simple thing where you may not have felt like you were doing something wrong, but this could have offended the individual. So by listening, you can understand this is why I'm feeling this way. And then you can, hey, I can apologize and we're going to keep it moving. But but it takes both parties to be willing to do that. So I can say now, I definitely am great at it because I would rather hear it in that moment rather than, and Tev just threw a word I was just about to get into on there. And I'm gonna bring it up real quick. He said that pride gets in the way a lot in your 20s. Definitely gotten better in my 30s. That's exactly where I was getting to with it, because it's a battle with you're feeling like, why this person got to say. Sometimes you got to understand the difference between hating and helping you become accountable. Because some people don't know how. That's also sometimes a way that people can't understand what's being done to better you. You got to be willing to understand if it's constructive criticism as well. That's also a part of accountability. Because I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use a real life situation. Even with my job, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm one of the youngest guys in my job. So me, if it's anything I slip up on, hey, I'm about to hit my supervisor. Hey man, I messed up on this, that, or third. Because you got some people who will sit there and try to instantly fault you for a particular situation because of your age. So me personally, I'm gonna get ahead of the game and keep myself accountable. So it definitely applies to what stage of life you're at.
Yeah. And me, for myself being a follower of Jesus myself, um, as the word says, whatever you eat or drink, basically whatever you do it unto the glory of God. And so I, for me, take accountability that's giving glory to God, because we know that he's the father of all truth. And so if he's the father of all truth and I'm calling myself a follower, then accountability will further push, you know, it will further push the fact that, okay, I'm telling the truth in this situation. I'm not, you know, pushing on anybody else. And if somebody call me out on it, and if it's something that I did, I own up to it. And the thing is, when I take accountability, I don't allow myself to wallow in that. Like, of course, you're gonna feel bad about it. You're gonna want to beat yourself up. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you can't allow yourself to wallow in that, because the longer you stay in there, the less productive you'll be in taking accountability. So I believe for all of us, to further illuminate the truth, you know, we have to accept accountability in everything, because that's the only way you're gonna grow. So
You had two comments come in. I want to see what y'all got to say about the two of these. The first one is this new generation is soft. They don't know what accountability is. They get butt hurt too quick and can't take constructive criticism.
Wholeheartedly agree.
oh,
I
agree
do too.
100%.
Wholeheartedly
I do
agree.
too. And the
Wholeheartedly
second one
agree.
is getting out in front of it. Usually mitigates a lot of the negatives that may come out of those situations, especially in the workplace and relationships.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about both of those comments?
I feel
I-
going back to the first comment, completely true. Like, these kids are made out of glass.
Paper mache.
Like, I'm talking about, I just had a situation on my job where, you know, I work in for those who don't know, it's a very demanding position, criminal defense firm. We got a lot of, you know, it's just a lot of moving parts, and you absolutely cannot wear your feelings on your shoulders, right? It's very fast paced sometimes. And when we're in the heat of things, we are in the heat of things. We don't got time to patty cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to move. We got to move. And these are people's lives on the line. You know what I'm saying? So I had a situation where I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she was working on something. And man, she like messed up on something or whatever the case may be. But she literally just broke and started like, I'm talking about like full out crying, y'all. And I'm like, while I get it, you know, because I had to address her, you know what I'm saying? And while I get it, it's just like, baby, this is the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, don't get me wrong. There have been situations where I had to tuck off in the bathroom and just like breathe, and because it can be overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? But these kids will cry at the drop of, and we're talking about a grown person. Like, this is not a child. You know, this is an adult. And I was just floored at the fact that you are standing here in my face in this good place of business, and you are essentially, because this is how I saw it, you are essentially throwing a tantrum because I'm holding you accountable for something that you messed up. Where they do that at? But again, it's a generation. And I don't know, like, everybody says that I'm so hard on my baby, but I tell people, y'all don't understand. I got to make sure she knows. I got to hold her accountable. I need to make sure that she knows what accountability looks like from an individual standpoint, from a Black woman standpoint, from it's so many things, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like if I don't do this, she's going to be the one standing up in somebody's office crying when they hold her accountable for something that she did, you know, that she may not have done correctly. And here's the thing, y'all. We are not perfect humans, right? There are going to be plenty of things. And I teach her too. I said, look, baby, I'm 40 years old. And I'm still having to hold my, until we are dead, resting with the Lord, we are always going to be held accountable for something, right? Every day, life is a growing curve. So I think if we stop looking at accountability as a bad thing, maybe we can do a little bit better, because it's not bad. I'm like, baby, this is not bad. People mess up, but you have to learn how to be accountable when you make an error. But yes, wholeheartedly agree with that comment, because I literally just had a situation.
And I'm gonna add to what you just said.
I can
He
hear you,
came back
Nate.
and said y'all got to
It's
chill with
just
the
me. I
generation
can
that
hear you.
said the same thing about every. Now now let me say this before I jump into go back into what Court was just saying. I understand this comment right here, but I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna debate this one right here. A lot of us, us four, grew up in the '90s. There's a lot of us four grew up in the '90s. There's a lot of this generation. They're having to navigate a lot of things that we got to see both sides of. See a lot of this generation coming up in the social media era. So they're being, I don't want to say programmed. I think that's too strong of a word, but I feel like in a lot of cases there are certain things that they may approach different, which kind of affects their interpersonal contact of dealing with situations like this. Whereas us in the night, us growing up, the kids grew up in the late '90s, grew up in the 2000s, and even the early 2010s. We got to see how the interpersonal reactions are, vice versa, to dealing with stuff just online. So it's hard for me to just. So our generation saw both sides. What we're dealing with this younger generation, this is no jab at them. They're different. They're coming up in a different time frame. So a lot of things that we didn't deal with, because let's be real, we're all on the StreamYard platform right now. This didn't exist when we were teenagers.
Right.
A lot of stuff didn't exist when we were teenagers. A lot of stuff came post-COVID. So it's a lot of things that they're learning that we already were a little bit further ahead of as teenagers going to being young adults. And to kind of tie into what you said, Court, I work with two of the guys that I work with. They're like a 13, 14 year difference from me. And there was a situation where, and there's certain things that the older generation don't really agree with that, you be trying to tell them in the moment, like, hey, avoid doing this because you don't want to have yourself in a situation where it's causing problems with this older generation. Because, for example, they don't understand a lot. They're not going to understand a lot of things about you because they can barely understand a lot of things about our generation. And
Right.
we're the one right behind them. So you kind of having to navigate those things. And as you said, that's why it's so key to make sure that you're taking the time out to really help them learn accountability as it goes.
Yeah.
Just because you're being taught something or being preached to about something doesn't mean it's a negative thing. It means that they're trying to better you. And you can, I'm gonna be honest, you can know the difference between constructive criticism and negativity. You know the difference between the two. But you can't go into every situation like somebody's coming for me. I gotta come back. I gotta check them. Gotta check them. You can't have that. But they're having technical difficulties in and out real quick, y'all. So, but they're gonna be that. But again, that's where it comes down to.
Just so y'all know, like, I think we're all having like technical difficulties. I keep it just in the mid sentence. You just go out, and I have no audio, so I have to keep going out and coming back.
Wow.
Understandable.
But I saw a comment that I wanted to address. It was, I don't remember who it was, but they said something to the effect of, they say the same thing about every generation. And I want to say to that point, yeah, we do say the same thing about every generation, but is there not truth to it, to whatever's being said? So they soft. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that our parents, things that they were saying about us in our generation, it was true. You know what I'm saying? And so we also have to hold space for the fact that, yeah, we might be repeating the same thing generation after generation, but it's some facts in there though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that we say about my generation, and I think all of us are kind of in the same generation, I believe. But I know one of the things they said about us is that we're a microwave generation. We want everything right now. We got very little patience. Them folks ain't lied on us. That is the truth. That's the truth. We think everything's supposed to be, and of course, as you grow and as you get older, things change, life changes. we are that type of generation, because I feel like, now I do feel like it's a little bit of our parents' fault, because we're a part of that generation where when we was coming up, our parents wanted us to have everything that they didn't have. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to make sure we got, so we were kind of spoiled, you know. And then we came into the internet era and we saw how quickly accessible things, you know, that started kind of with us, you know. And I feel like that contributed to our impulsivity and us feeling like we should have things right now because it's right at our fingertips. So imagine if we're like that, these little jokers behind us got it even worse. You know what I'm saying? So that I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be saying stuff about the generation behind them too. So it's always gonna be a thing, but just because it's always a thing don't mean that it ain't some truth to it, because it absolutely is.
And before I get to my main point, I believe that that's the issue. And I'm not, coming after the person who said the comment, but the phrase of y'all got to chill on the new generation. I believe that's the problem. That's the problem, is we are chilling. The problem is we're not bringing to the forefront those problems. We're not bringing to the forefront those issues. Like, we live in such an era now where we see a problem. Some people see a problem, they know it's wrong, but they won't say anything. You know, this type of society, they promote silence on the things that are wrong, then they do the good stuff, like the word says, woe unto those who call good evil and evil good. It's like we're not supposed to speak on the things that's supposed to promote what's going on. That's supposed to promote the good, but we supposed to stay silent on the things that are bad. No, like that's not the way. The way that I was raised up, when you see a problem, when you see a problem, you call them out. If you see an issue, you call them out. I'm not raising this generation where if I see somebody getting robbed, like, okay, so like why you think World Star was created? World Star was created because people like drama. Some people like drama. They don't want to take accountability for anything. You see a fight, and instead of getting to breaking it, instead of getting in the middle of the fight, hey, y'all not supposed to be doing that. Hey, it's all about love. Y'all take out y'all phones. Ooh, him again, World Star. Like, why do you think that? No accountability. And I know that has nothing to do with you, but at the same time, it has something to do with you. Like, we live in this, and that ain't none of my business. Eventually, it will be your business, because what it affects your community. What you gonna do when it affects your household? Well, it ain't me. Eventually, it is gonna be you. So you either gonna sit there and be quiet, or you gonna stand up and speak something about it. And I just think, for me, we live in such a society now where it's like, y'all gotta chill. No, that's the problem. We chilling too much. We allowing so many things just to go up under the rug, to where when it becomes a mountain, then we want to say something. No, stomp on it while there's an anthill. And this new generation, they are soft. I'm not afraid to say it. They are soft. They are soft. You can't tell them anything, because you give them the slightest, I'm talking about the slightest criticism. Oh my God, you hate me. Oh my God.
I be like, the dramatics, baby, calm down.
I said
you stapled the paper the wrong way. Like, Jesus Christ, it's okay.
You ready to go drink yourself into a stupor because you staple paper? I told you staple paper was wrong.
I think, I'm so glad you brought that up, Don. I think that's another problem too. These kids, and by kids, I mean like kids and all the way up to young adults. I'll say going up through like maybe like 25, 26. They're so weak that they put themselves in positions to be doing things to try to lift the pressure. For example, I ain't never seen so many drunk young folks in my life. Now, I realized that all of us at some point, we were all hype about turning 21 and being able to drink. These kids not waiting until 21 no more. They smoking and doping and drinking and all the things before they can barely even make it out of high school.
Even with the vaping, the vaping, that stuff wasn't like that when we were in high school. Yeah, you had the smoking and stuff, but the vaping, you even can go down to middle school and these kids getting caught up for vape. So now you're right.
And to take it a step further, and the Holy Spirit just revealed this to me. The reason why I believe that one of the main reasons why we have so many unbelievers, because they don't want to accept accountability. When you come to Jesus, he's going to show you all your business.
Boy, you better talk about it.
24/7. Jesus in his word, you get in his word, you're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't know I had this.
Crackheads, and I'm not talking about Whitney and Bobby. I'm talking about certified Tyrone Biggums crackheads.
I didn't know I had this going on. Wow, really, Jesus? I'm telling you. That's why many people don't want to believe in Jesus, because they don't want their business out there. They think they're good. Oh, I'm good. I'm this and I'm that. No, you're not as big as you. Like the meme says, you're not that guy. You're not that guy. So you're not as big as you think you are. And when you are, what my wife said, this is a great topic.
That's true. Young and old, that is so true.
They smell it themselves. They think they know everything. This generation they think they know everything. This generation is so social media driven that they will use statistics. I'm talking about statistics. They'll use all they'll do all the blame God and the blame game in the world to show to prove that they're not the problem. No, you are the problem. And when you realize that you are the problem, then you need to do something about that.
Ooh, he brought up an interesting question. Is there an accountability on us that help raise those kids? It do reflect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying when I said our parents, or the generation that talked about us. I feel like they contributed to the problem, because we are a part of that generation where our parents wanted to give us what they didn't have, and so they kind of spoiled us to a certain degree. And so I feel like we are contributing. We talk about them, but we're contributing to the very thing that we're talking about. So that's why I said, me as a parent, I'm very careful to hold my child accountable and to not make her susceptible to what her generation is doing. I feel like us as parents, we set that standard, we set that bar. Now, are they still going to be kids, and are they still going? Of course, because they're not robots. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to listen to everything we say. But I do feel like parents play a part in shaping their children. And so if I already know that her generation is weak, then I'm going to put the pressure to her and build up her strength so that she can stand up under pressure, if that makes sense.
Why? Oh, go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I agree with you. I'm going to double down on what you said too, because one thing about it, as far as where I can further agree with you on, is you have to set the standard for how you and your kid communicate, because that's going to carry on to the next one. Like, for example, I'm about to use some of this current terminology. When I'm not a parent yet, but you never gonna hear me calling my kid twin or my dog or nothing like that. I'm not gonna do none of that. You're not about to be cussed around me. I'm 35 and I have yet to cuss in front of my mom to this day. And I believe in that. Even with my grandparents and them, they heard because one time. And I was, because that's got snapped on somebody. But that's another talk about another day. But I believe in there's certain standards that you should hold your kid accountable to, even if they're an adult. There's some things that still should be a standard that is set, that is not being held accountable. I cannot have you sitting up in here and I'm cussing like a sailor at 15, 16. I hear some of these kids saying certain words. I'm like, I would have never thought about saying this in front of my mom or in front of my dad or aunts, uncles, anybody that's older. So I don't knock anyone that grew up. And the statement that I absolutely hate. I will never knock a kid or an adult that grew up and you got raised by older people, because sometimes those standards, you need those standards. I'm not about to be out here and you can't get mad if a kid operate a certain way and you allowed it. Like, for example, you cannot allow, like, shoot, we live in this sexy red lotto generation and all this stuff where the parents letting them have all kind of stuff that we wouldn't even came close to having in 8th, 9th grade. But now, if they're 19, 20, they're making certain moves, and you like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't believe in that. But did you state that back when they were 14 to 15? Did you state that? Did you say what is allowable and what's not allowable? So, no, I do agree with this comment because Cort Dope said it earlier. It is accountability that's done on multiple ends. So it is also a part on raising kids because, as y'all said, you can change certain things based on the way you grew up, but don't change it to where and I know this is the same for your mom done and your parents too, Cort. My mama will never say, oh, that's my friend. My child is my friend. We can have a good relationship, but there is a standard that is going to forever be set.
Yeah. And I believe that's where that whole blame the man mentality comes from, because some parents, they'll come up with any excuse to get the blame off of them and put it on somebody else. And at the end of the day, no, you just decide not to make the best out of your life. No, you just decided to get rich off government's money instead of going out there getting a job. But you want to sit there and say, oh, blame the man. I'm here because no, you're here because you made choices, you made your decisions, and you didn't own up to them. Yeah. Period. So at the end of the day, we have to instill accountability in our children. And like Nate, I have yet to have children, but one thing you're not finna do, you're not finna sit here and blame somebody else for what you did. No, you're gonna get accountability instilled in you day one. Absolutely, I am 100% behind that. Because for me, I didn't I wasn't instilled accountability inside of my, in myself until my early 20s. So I don't want my children growing up in a way that they have to feel like they have to blame somebody else for the decision that they made. No, you're going to take accountability for what you made, and you're going to accept the consequences. Yeah, those consequences, some of those consequences they're not going to be good. But at the end of the day, it's about instilling something in your children that can be generational, something they can pass on to their children, and their children can pass on to their children. So I truly believe that the parents have to take accountability as well for some of these children's actions. But still, these children got to take accountability for their actions. So so it's accountability all across the board with the parents and the children.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, I think it's where you're looking, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I hold mine accountable.
That's crazy.
But I'll say this to the point that this comment just made. I'm gonna task myself with holding more of the generation accountable. I've only been focused on my daughter, but I think that it is a community effort. But you got to even be careful with that, because y'all got to remember, we live in a world where it's not a village anymore. Mm-mm. You don't know what you can say to somebody else's child.
You better say that again.
And so the things that I do for mine, and how I jack her and I yoke her and I make sure whatever whoop de woo, you can't always do that with somebody else's kid. So it's hard. How can we help them when the parents don't want you to say nothing to them?
That'll start a fight real quick.
How can we help them? How can you
help? Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives Matter, right?
So unless we start taking on the mentality again that it takes a village to raise these children, because I'm the type of parent, I'm the mother. You see mine out cutting up, acting a fool, You better if you don't drag her, I'm gonna drag you.
You right.
And then bring her to me after you drag her, and I'm gonna drag her again. That's the type of parent I am, because I want my daughter to be better than me. I want her to be the best. And I know in order to do that, I need a village. I can't teach it all to her by myself. I'm not always, my eyes can't always be where she is. So I expect that other adults, like-minded adults, they see mine out doing something strange, get her. Get her. Because I can't, mama not gonna always be there. You know what I'm saying? So again, to this point, I would like to help other children, but you don't know how it's. I just seen a video, y'all, last night. Just seen a video where a mama was popping off on some lady about her daughter. And it wasn't even, in my opinion, it wasn't even that serious. You know what I'm saying? But that just goes to show you some people are weird when it comes to other people trying to hold their kids accountable. So it's like a catch-22.
Yeah. I don't envy teachers at all nowadays. Like you can scroll down, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, videos of, students bucking up at teachers, fighting teachers, like, and don't get me wrong, not all teachers are good. Like there are people in positions that they shouldn't be. But, and I'm sure y'all, I know I missed a lot, and my apologies for that. But there's just when we grew up, or when we were growing up, it's like when adults were talking, you were quiet. And if like if you started talking or you interrupted an adult conversation, my mom was quick to cut her out. Yeah, exactly.
In a child place,
Exactly. Yeah, like say in a child place, like don't you see adults talking? Like why are you here? Going exactly. You have to go sit in the other room and watch TV or play the game. And so kids now they're just such a lack of respect for other adults. And I mean, and you get a lot of insight to it. A lot of times when they're talking to teachers any kind of way, that's because they talk to their parents any kind of way too. So they don't see a difference. Like there's no like, hey, I'm talking to a parent. I need to handle this situation with respect. That seems to like completely gone out the window. And I think it has something to do, kids definitely, they don't play outside as much as they used to. Like just the growing up as a child is completely different. Everyone's tied to, YouTube, they're on tablets, they're on phones, whatever, watching stuff on YouTube that they're not supposed to watch. Like it's just a completely different day and age. And
I just want to encourage parents too. Baby, I blocked my child's phone so hard that baby can't do nothing but read the Bible on that phone. She can't get a text message out without me knowing who she's talking to.
That's good.
And I just want to encourage more parents. Y'all got to watch these kids. Ain't no YouTube over here. If she see it, she's at some, she's visiting with somebody or outside of my. There's no YouTube on the TV. There's no YouTube on the phone, baby, unless we watching a sermon. And, again, I'm not naive. I know that I'm not everywhere where she is all the time. And there's other children and there's influence. But I think we as parents need to get back to really parenting and monitoring our children. You got to guard their gates. You got to guard what they're being fed, what they're watching in your presence. Be careful with these phones.
A lot of parents, they're cool as long as their child is not in their hair and they can, do what they're doing, scroll on their phone, watch TV, whatever it might be, and their child is occupied with whatever they're doing, even some, stuff they shouldn't be doing, they're completely fine. They don't.
And that's where we have to take accountability as parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know one of my biggest excuses and justifications used to be, I work so hard, I'm so tired. Yeah, but what that got to do with being a mother?
You weren't so hard and so tired when Never mind. I ain't even
Well,
Hey.
and I know what he was finna go with that. In my
Yeah.
defense, I ain't take no pleasure in making my baby. That is my goddaughter, and I'm raising her. But I know where you was going with that,
Yeah.
and I agree.
But
I
you're
do
right.
agree.
That's
But I just
That,
want to
I
make
mean,
for the record.
that's accountability in that too. Like you can't sit here and be like, oh my God, this is so hard and I'm so tired. But you weren't thinking about all that when you was out here,
giving it out.
right,
giving it out. So
Giving
you
it
should have
out.
known what
Throwing it in
came
a
with
circle. I didn't throw it in a circle. She's not my biological child. But
that. We ain't asked for all that, Court.
But I still say you still have to be accountable as a parent because I didn't have to take her.
Sure.
I didn't have to agree to be her mom. I didn't have to do that. So it's still, I said all that to say we as parents, we got to hold our own selves accountable. We got to stop making excuses and we got to do what we got to do for these kids because I do feel like we are responsible.
And you're doing your child a disservice if your kids are growing up way too fast nowadays. Like between everything they're seeing, hearing, experiencing, it's just like do your child the best favor you can do for your child is just allowing them to truly have that experience and not growing up quicker than they should be. And kids out here thinking they're grown, thinking they can talk to people any kind of way with no consequences because nobody putting their hands on them. Also, like, and one day they're gonna meet the right one, and it's gonna be a different conversation, and that's when it's gonna click. I saw a video yesterday. I guess this woman was trying to act crazy in the parking lot, and I don't know what the whole situation. I don't have the backstory, but she hopped on the hood of this person's car, and the person started driving.
F8, F4.
And you see, you can see the look, and it look. You can see like there's a dash cam, and it looked like the lady was the driver was getting on like the interstate, and you can see her speed, like she's driving faster and faster, and you can see the look on the lady's face when she realizes like this isn't the game. I'm about to fall off this car,
Right.
and it's going really fast, and it's
me and Jen, we was literally at a beauty shop last weekend, in Cumberland, and we just heard this customer and this employee going back and forth. The customer was basically, the customer was in the right. She was saying, hey, when I'm at the register, don't be on your phone. Like, I appreciate you ain't on your phone.
Oh, for sure, yeah, you're doing
and
the job.
you just see I believe she was like a young girl or something. She was like, don't tell me what the F to do and all this type of stuff. Like, just get on out of here. And the lady just going back and forth. She said, who you think you talking to? I'll bring my daughter up here and all this stuff. Like, you going back and forth with the customer. These robots are they gonna take your job. They gonna take your job. And the girl was saying, well, they can have this MF, they can have this mother job. Like I'm like, and then Jen started saying, I'm like, babe, don't say nothing. And I'm thinking about it now. Maybe I should have let her say something because, like Courtney was saying, and I was saying too, we've just allowed so many things to go by the wayside that we don't know how dangerous things have got to the point to where, okay, now we have no choice but to say something because it's getting too chaotic. And if these things would have been instilled a long time ago, maybe we wouldn't be having these issues. Maybe this generation would be tougher, but because we just said, well, they don't have anything to do with me, I don't need to say anything. That's wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
We do need to say something.
And
but
honestly,
I also want to. Oh, sorry, Nate. I just want to quickly insert too. To both of me and Don's point, sometimes we just don't get involved. But y'all, the other side of that is some people who you don't get involved because you just a punk and you scared of these kids. I ain't scared of not now. I'm not scared of
one.
I'm not scared of now kid.
I'm scared
and
of
at
me.
the point that you getting disrespectful with me like that, I will hang you up by your pinky toe. Don't ever cross me or think I'm finna settle for disrespect. I'm not scared of nothing. Not no kid. And I feel like we gotta stop being. Where did we become afraid? of these kids.
Absolutely. You're right about that.
Yeah, we gotta stop being punks.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why. And I like the fact he made this comment. He coaches kids up in Ohio. Now, hold on. Let me throw this comment up real quick before I get back to. I think y'all probably seen it.
Nigga, I gotta shoot. I shoot too. I don't care nothing about no switches.
Right,
Let's
we
go,
can go
let's
at
go
it.
bullet
You
for
know what I'm
bullet. Dog.
saying? Like, okay, all right.
I care
Let's
about
shoot.
switches. I care about
All right.
switches personally. So just
But yeah, like
FYI.
it is.
They need
sad.
some switches. They need to get some switches.
Let's
You know
shoot.
Go out there on that branch and get
Let's
the
shoot.
don't come back no twig. Oh, man, that's a when he says switches, that was a core memory unlock for me.
that was
That's their problem.
They
ain't
tell
got
you to
no-
go get that switch.
You come back with a skinny.
You try to
branch.
play around like, oh, it's not the right one. Then they're gonna beat you twice.
And
Yep.
once they take the leaves off, hey,
Yeah,
you
wet
Y'all.
get fast
Oh my
with it.
God.
Y'all
You
wait.
get
Let me
fast,
tell
they
you-
get faster.
I got a
And
funny
don't let them
story,
wet the
y'all.
switches. Oh my goodness.
I got a funny story. So typically, my child, like if she had to get, pop, it's with a belt most times, right? So we were at home in Bama. Now y'all like Don know what I'm talking about because we are from the country. Like
cut-
I'm not
yeah,
talking
we
about the
cut
regular
different.
country. I'm
Yeah.
talking about animals, farms, hogs, pigs, and cows.
Stars
country.
in the sky as night lights. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So y'all, I would never forget this
I'm
one
going
time.
that next weekend. I can't wait.
Oh, I'm going home too. I would never forget, y'all. We were at my mama, which is her granny. We was at granny's house. And that little joker decided she was gonna get in trouble by something.
Uh-oh.
And ain't no belts at granny house.
Pots.
Granny got switches.
Mhm.
Granny got switches. Y'all, the look of horror.
You ain't had a real whooping unless you've been hit with a switch.
You ain't had a
Yeah.
real. And y'all, that's what I'm telling y'all about these kids. The reason why we have to train them the way and expose them to certain stuff. Her mind was blown. Is that a stick? Yes,
Yes.
ma'am, it is.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You're gonna hit me with a stick. Yes, ma'am, I am.
Did you
This
talk
was
to her with each lash? Do not
Each
tell.
one of
Oh, that's it. At least whooping right there. You'll talk at every swing.
every. Didn't I tell
Mm.
you not to? God dang it!
And listen, I understand, and I'm not an advocate for, people like, I'm an advocate for corporal punishment, but not to the point where you're actually hurting your child. But this whole gentle parenting and like trying to think you can just
These kids not gentle.
exactly they not gentle.
Soft, but they not
They
gentle.
not exactly. So it's like I feel like the difference between nowadays and the way things were, like I feel like I've turned out the way that I am in a good way because I had a healthy fear of my mom. Like I knew if I went to school and I acted up, there was gonna be something waiting for me when I got home.
When you got home, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, what's the point if your kid is going to school, acting bad, running them up, doing all this bad stuff, and they come home and they can just watch TV or hop on the iPad or nothing
And
changes.
what good is it doing?
What are they learning from that?
What are they learning? And that's why I said I'm not an advocate for like beating kids, mistreating kids, or anything like that. But
About kill what?
hey, if you ain't had a near-death experience,
We feel it 100%.
You had to have at least one near-death experience.
near-death experience. Boy, my mama.
For you to
my
get-
mama. I remember one
I'm
time,
trying to
dog.
tell
My
you.
mama took the phone and knocked
Well, who
me
you telling,
upside my
Katie?
head. I couldn't believe it. I was just like my baby. Took the phone, and y'all know back then when we was growing up, we had them cordless phones. Them things was heavy.
Yeah.
Just swing.
Boom, right upside my head.
And if we didn't have switches, we had extension cords too. We had them too.
Extension cord. They picked up
Hot
anything they could
pans.
find.
Yeah.
Let you
Anything
be
they could
acting up. Let you be acting up in church, and they ain't even got to.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get you when we get home. Like they
Exactly.
whisper in your
I'm
ear.
not gonna do it here, But wait till we
get home.
Just wait until we get to the house.
You might get popped in the car on the way home.
Yeah.
Into the whooping.
Just wait.
The dish.
The dish rat. Oh Lord.
And it was wet too.
The
And they
dish
were
rat might hurt.
boy.
Nah, I never was bad enough to where
too good. This generation got too good, man.
I never was bad enough to where my mom had to actually come to the school to get me, but I saw other people's parents. Like I remember I was in middle school and somebody's parent had to come to school to get them in the middle of the day, just dragging them by their collar to the bathroom. And it's a different day and age.
Yeah. They want to call CPS and the police if they see a parent whooping their child. That's my child. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is going on? Like, I can whoop my own child now. I mean, all this. I'm gonna take your iPad away. You know, I'm gonna put you on ground. I'm gonna ground you for a week. Yeah, I'm gonna ground you for a week, and you're gonna get this whooping. Like, it ain't gonna be either or. It's gonna be both. It's gonna be all the above. What you talking about?
What are you saying?
Crazy. And I love that term that Ant used, the healthy fear of I'm going to school. Hey, I got to do this because I know what I would deal with when I go home. If you don't have a healthy fear, you feel like I can just get by with whatever. Because I ain't gonna lie, I tell mom all the time with my younger brother, don't change your format because your format for me may be who I am.
It works.
Don't change it. And I advise that to every parent. If you got kids that maybe one may be well, in my case, I'm 17-year difference. But anyways, if you got one that came in one generation and one that came in another generation, don't change your format because it helps both of them. I don't care if you can adapt to the times to an extent, but don't go away from what brought you, what built your kids to be what they are. Because sometimes you'll go back especially when you get older. Like, I see what mom was talking about. I'm glad I stay away from this because look at this person right here. Because when you give in too much, that's when the combative come back. And like y'all were mentioning earlier, as far as you do, but you and the thing is, not only was that healthy fear established in our particular parents, it was in other adults too. And I think that's another problem with this generation. They're so equipped to let me speak my point. So let me try to make a person look bad. No, sometimes that person's trying to coach you up to make you understand what you how you should operate. Now, as Ant said earlier, there are some people that ain't hitting on nothing done. No, I got me a couple teachers senior year. I ain't gonna lie, but it was warranted. I told my mom, I warned her. I said, "Mom, I'm gonna get this teacher. I'm gonna let you know." But again, for the most part, people are gonna help build you. They're gonna get on to you when you need to be getting on to. But you'll know the difference. Like I gotta say, you'll know the difference. And let me go. I want to scroll back up real quick.
And at the end of the day, we want this generation to be better than what we want. Yeah. We want this generation to succeed. That's why we go so hard. It's because we want them to have it better than how we had it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? We know what we had. We know what we had. You know, and so it is our job to prepare the next generation. Okay, this is what we had to endure. This is the steps. This is the blueprint for y'all to succeed. So y'all don't have to go through all this. But if they not receiving the advice, then I mean, what more can we do? What more can we do?
I don't know. It feels like, you know, especially as black people, it's like our parents, they grew up during the civil rights movement and they saw, you know, what that looked like and, you know, what it took to get to where we are now. And it's almost like, and it's some of us too, to a certain degree, but it's like, we feel like we've actually like achieved something when a lot of us are, depending upon how you look at the situation, we're still haunted by some of the same things that we were haunted by back then. You know what I mean? And it's like, if we want to continue like progressing forward, like Don was saying, we got to just continue to get better. We can't feel like, oh man, we've arrived, like we're good. No, like there's still a lot of people struggling out there. And it's like, in order for us to get better, like as a whole, we can't feel like, hey, we got it, we're good. No, that's not the case. That's not.
And some of that falls on us as well, because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, a lot of that comes down to us too.
All right, because some of us out here, we still trying to live it. We trying to act like we still got our groove or whatever. No, you're 50. You're 40. Like, time to act like it. Like, pull your pants up. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Come on.
That's why if you're in a position to, and you have the time available, please, get involved with some of these, if you have the opportunities to mentor, the younger folk, if you're able to. There was a time where I wanted to be a teacher. And I just always enjoyed like working with kids and helping put them on the right track. And I don't have as much time as I used to for that, and I could do better with this as well. But if we want the youth to be more accountable, be more responsible, and just be better overall, that's how we got to be willing to put that time in as well. To helping them and just being a voice. And you're not gonna be able to reach every kid, obviously, but you can impact, a couple. That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I want to hit on this comment. Do y'all see where the teenagers are doing these teen takeovers? They start talking about charging the parents. And y'all, yes, this is also a part of holding kids accountable.
What is a teen takeover? What is that?
So basically, it's been going on a lot out here. Like they had, I know Dunn probably seen it. They had where the kids was just out up to no good at like even the battery out there where the Braves play at real late at night. To me, don't change one thing about it. I know y'all probably had it when you were growing up. Most of the time when we hung out, it was during the daytime. Like we went to the ball and all that different stuff, to the movies. Yeah. You can't. Me personally, I don't understand how you can have some of these teens out here at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning out here acting up for no reason. You need to be at somebody's house. So it needs to be some standard set. You still need to have a curfew. You still need to have certain things. All this, let them roam freely. They ain't bothering nobody. You don't know that. Because you got your difference between your teenagers and your YNs. There is a difference. You got some people going out to have a good time. You got some that, hey, let me go out here because the new trending thing is crashing out with some of these teenage kids. They want to go out here and show out. Yeah, it do need to be held accountable from at home, because guess what? Your kid get out here and get to fight and they on the news. My baby don't never do that. Yes, he do.
Yes,
you
he
just
do.
ain't stop it.
You just
ain't seen him. You just ain't seen him.
Exactly. Yeah. Courtney, you about to say something?
Yeah, question. I'm sorry, y'all. I may have missed a small part. What is a teen takeover? And what you mean they starting to charge the parents? Like, I just wanted to see. Like, I clearly don't know what the new what is that about?
No,
so
the most recent. So go ahead, Nate.
So basically, like they had one. I know they had one up at the Battery where the kids was like all around the gas stations, and it was like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning
at Cumberland Mall.
In the Cumberland, the police had to come and break it up and everything. So like the kids just out. Some of them may not be up. They may not all be up to no good, but it's the fact that these kids is out here at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning in this crowded area. Like, why are y'all out here?
Oh, for sure. Then absolutely, it starts with, cause baby, I know what mine at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Over there in that bed. Over there in that bed. Over there in that bed. And baby, I sleep light. I hear you if you fart. You ain't getting out of my house. And baby, we live on the top floor. What you gonna do? Jump? What you gonna do? Jump? What you gonna do?
Fart is crazy.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Absolutely. We need to hold it. Parents should know where their kids, and when I say kids, I'm talking about teens. I'm talking about the whole 9. You not gonna beat. My mama used to teach me, and I teach her the same thing, baby. It ain't nothing out past a certain time of the night.
Nope, not at all. I heard that
it's hoes and prostitutes, and it's the only difference between the two is one of them getting paid and one of them ain't. Nice. Which one you want to be?
What about the third shift worker?
Which one is you? Which one is you?
You said third shift worker.
But you right, Court. Like,
no, she got a point though. She got.
I'ma know what mine.
No, 100%.
Now, when you get grown, and you out there, at that point, I've done all that I can do. If you decide you want to be out in the midnight hour, that's between you and the God you serve, because you know what I've taught you, what I've instilled in you. You know how I've held you accountable as a parent. So yeah, I can't, you know, that's crazy that to know that there's teens out in the middle of the night congregating somewhere, you know, with chaos and confusion. That's pretty wild to me. Mine ain't gonna be out there.
Train up a child. Train up a child which in the way that they should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. Simple. And if you're not training, you still train them. You train them to do the act, but wow. It's like when either you plan to fail or you fail to plan. Even when you ain't planning anything, you still planning. You plan to fail. So there's bad training, there's good training. So which train are these parents giving these children? And I when I look, I'm like, what type of household or structure they have to be in to feel comfortable and going out this time of day to this time of night to the gas station, to the mall. When I was growing up, I was in the house. It was only less than a handful of times that I was out past that type of time. But other than that, I was at the house. I was chilling. There was no reason for me to be out there. And it's just so many things that these teenagers are just exposed to that just cause them to be leached on to. And it's crazy. It starts with the parents. It starts at home. Just like the Bible says, charity starts at home. Respect starts at home. Discipline starts at home. Respect starts at home. So it's got to start at home.
You're right.
That's what I'm saying, man. With these teen takeovers.
Facts.
Yeah, legs in hospitals.
Facts.
I
agree.
But talking about kids being out, you know, with no parental supervision, it's like it goes back to what I was saying earlier. As long as the child is out of their hair, they chilling at the crib. They at their house, or they doing whatever they want to do. Not a concern in the world, and they kids just out running the streets, just doing whatever they want to do. Like
crazy.
And that's real life for a lot of people.
And then they want to fall out when something happened and something tragic happened.
Exactly.
One of them get killed. Now we crying and falling out.
What could I have done?
And frying fish for the GoFundMe, and because you ain't even took care of business as a parent to even have insurance on your kid.
Where were the black men at?
It goes back. It goes back to the parent. Now they face plastered on a t-shirt. Yeah, we done airbrushed them their name on a t-shirt. You know, all because you aren't holding your kids account. You not being accountable for them.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter then though. But when we try to discipline your child, when we try to tell them, hey, you shouldn't be out here this time of night. Hey, you should be in a house somewhere. You should be in a book studying to go to college or trade school or whatever. Oh, you can't tell them what to do. That's my child. You need to mind your business. All right, cool. You got it, bro. You got it.
And then the sad part about it is like, and even for us, like when we were going, I was saying when you had stepped away for a minute, Cort, that most times we were at malls and stuff like that. We were at the mall or somewhere like the movies. Well, shoot, there's a place. Done. I was just about to bring a skate zone, but even skate zone closed at a certain time. These kids here, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh yeah, we out with my twin. And then what make it so bad? These kids, and I hate to say it like this, some of these kids are dumb, and what I mean by dumb is social media dumb. Meaning you're putting every move that you make on social media. So you're gonna sit there and lie to somebody and say you went out here 2:23 in the morning, and we can look at your IG story and you will lie.
We out here, gang.
We out here, gang. Yeah, me and my twin, all that good stuff. No, it gotta be a point where you gotta have boundaries. Man. Because eventually they're gonna get 18 and they're gonna go be on their own or whatever. But at least in that time frame, give them. If you're gonna let them go and be in a particular place, let them have some type of structure where they're going or have an idea where they're going. Because all this, y'all can't want to let kids roam freely. All right. The jail let them roam freely.
The jail.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
I think
got
a lot of times, especially like with these parents, being a parent, and it goes back to what Don was saying, is like the act that you have to do in order to get to being a parent. You're not really thinking about all the stuff that comes along with it at that moment.
Just say
And
just say six.
and it's like being a parent is hard. Being a parent is tough. It requires you being willing to sacrifice and doing things at times that you really like. Courtney saying she's tired, and it's like you can't even think about being tired because you have other responsibilities. And so it's like a lot of these people with not all kids are easygoing kids. Some kids are combative, and with these parents, and it goes back to accountability. It's like a lot of people they just go with the path of least resistance, and the path of least resistance is not arguing with your kid, letting your kid do what they want to do, not making sure that they respect you and other adults.
Let them be their own person.
Exactly, yeah, all that kind of stuff. And it's like that path of least resistance. It was
not in this house.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the end result of that is. Your kid either hurting somebody else or them getting hurt in a situation that could have easily been avoided. But it takes work, and a lot of people they aren't willing to put in the work.
So I got a hot take question for y'all. So is there a difference in holding men accountable than holding women accountable?
Can I go first?
I'm gonna let Court. I want Court to answer that one first.
Yeah.
I think that the accountability is the same, but I think that men and women differ in how we respond or hold ourselves accountable. I don't think there's the difference is accountability. Like I said at first, when we first started, accountability is accountability, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's how we view and how we look at it through the lens of a man and the lens of a woman. I think that is what throws things off. For example, in dating,
that's true.
I have tried to hold my partner accountable, or even have him hold himself accountable for certain things that in his mind is just not happening. It's not clicking. Versus me or him wanting to hold me accountable for something, and I say, I could see that, and I will then take it and apologize or whatever the case may be, So I just think, and I'm not saying that to say that all men are like that, because I don't believe that. I believe that there are men who accept accountability and who work to change. But that's another thing too, though, y'all. Once we become accountable for that action, are you growing? Or are you just going to keep holding yourself accountable for the same behavior?
Right.
That's true.
So back to the original point, I just think men and women, we see it differently. And I feel like in order for a partnership to work, it's got to be give and take. Mm-hmm. It's got to be give and take. It can't just be one person holding themselves accountable. It's got to be both people. Sometimes I have to hold myself accountable for things that I didn't even do wrong, or I feel like I didn't do wrong. But because my partner says I offended them, or because my partner feels this way, I got to come up and say, hey, I made you feel this way and I'm sorry. And I'm going to work on not making you feel that way again for that, with whatever I did. That's got to be both ways, or it just won't work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
That's my thoughts.
I'm gonna let everybody else go because I got
okay. Yeah. Well, I can say I can agree with what Court just said, that it differs, but you do got to be willing to put the work in, because at the end of the day, I feel like the best approach with accountability is You're trying to find a way to understand how did you offend that person and work through that conflict. Because if you don't work through that conflict, the problem's going to continue to happen over and over again. You don't want that to happen. So when you realize that there's a issue there, get a chance to sit down and ask, okay, how did I take this? How did I offend you? And how can we make this situation better? First, of course, you're going to apologize, but you need to take the time to actually know what you did or how you might have made them feel so you can understand why they're feeling this way. And guess what? You can have a chance to talk. Okay, I didn't understand I did it. That wasn't my intentions. Having a healthy conversation. Sometimes people from every conversation don't have to be an argument. You can have healthy conversations where you're just talking amongst each other and getting on a better side of things. Some people feel like you got to have a big bash out, we yelling. No, you don't have to do that. So I do agree with Cort. It's definitely, I think it's the same, but I think the way that you understand accountability could be different. But I think the same thing is the same. So that's kind of my take on it. Oh, Cort, by the way.
Don't make me. Don't hype me. Don't hype me.
Don't hype me.
Don't hype me.
Don't hype me.
I'll go quick. They should be the same, regardless of you talking to a man or a woman. And I think, especially when you're having conversations around accountability, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think, honestly, going back, kind of echoing what Courtney was saying, I feel like when you're having conversations about accountability, you got to be more careful with your words when you're talking to men because of pride and ego than you do with women. And don't get me wrong, women can be sensitive as well. We know that. But I feel like when you're addressing another man about his shortcomings or just something that he could do better, a lot of times it's like, they're not willing to take that constructive criticism. And I'm not really sure what's behind that necessarily. I mean, I know it's behind his ego and pride, like I was just saying, but
the world's on our shoulders. That's the problem.
Let me let Don go.
No, go ahead.
No, that pretty much covered it.
I like what you said right there. It should
be, yeah,
be the same, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And we have to be real and say that, because I know that there are some people that don't agree with everything that he says, but even Kevin Samuels, when he tried to keep, how can I say this? When he tried to keep women accountable, there was so much pushback as if they was getting 1,000 cuts. And all he was trying to tell them is, you got yourself in this situation. Now you have to be accountable for your actions. And I think it's a slippery slope, because with men, you don't see the type of defense, even especially on social media. When a man makes a decision and another man holds him accountable, you don't see as much defense that man as you do for a woman.
Yeah.
When you try to make women, some women, I'm not gonna say all, because I don't want to start no storm on here. But when you try to show some women accountable, then the attacks come. Oh, you hate women. You can't. It's a difference. It really is a difference. And my thing is, if it should be the same, why isn't it the same? Why is it so much pushback when I'm telling you the truth? And I think that's where people have it wrong nowadays, is that you're good at telling other people their truth. But when it comes to you telling yourself your truth, then there's an issue. Or when somebody else telling you something about you that's wrong with you and what you need to fix, then there seems to be a problem. And so for me, I just want to, I guess, get a clear understanding as to why is that? Why isn't it a difference? Um, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's been a thing for a long time, and I don't know when we will have a good answer as to why that is. You know what I mean?
It's a
yeah.
mystery for sure.
I don't think it'll be solved
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
think
I
Yeah,
don't either.
I don't think it will be solved because, like we said, we live in an era now that you know everybody's right, you know, and if you're wrong, we gonna if you're wrong, then so be it. But I'm right, you're wrong. it's no, it seems to be less and less accountability that's taking place, and the at the end of the day for me it's just we can't sit back and be silent anymore. Like I said earlier, and I go back to my point. Um, I think that we've just allowed so many things to go up under the rug for so long that we don't realize how dangerous things have gotten. You know, teen takeovers, um, children fighting parents. You know, um, it's crazy. It's crazy out here, and you know, we just have to keep each other accountable, and
exactly.
we have to, and it starts with us because when we keep our own selves accountable, then it'll be easier for us to keep other people accountable, and it's not coming off in a way that I'm better than you, I know more than you. Well, yeah, I know more than you, that's why I'm keeping you accountable, but it's not coming off arrogantly. It's just I'm trying to show you a better way
Sure.
because the way you're going right now, I've been that way and you don't want to go that way. That's what accountability basically is. I've been down when you've been down that road and you see somebody else walking down that road or about to cross the intersection. Hey, don't come down this street. Go down this street because there's nothing but bad for you down this street. So go go on the other, go down to another street, do it the right way, and you'll see a different outcome.
No, for sure. I think really it starts, like you said, it's holding yourself accountable, and I think it's easier to hold others accountable when they know that you're treating them the same way that you treat yourself. Like I'm as hard, I'm I'm super hard on myself, and the people that are in my circle, whether it be friends, loved ones, family, whatever it might be, when they see that you know, when I'm already doing that to myself, and I'm treating them the same way, it's coming from a place of love, and it's not really coming from a, hey, I'm trying to make you feel bad, or I'm trying to demean you, or whatever. It's not coming from a negative place. It's coming from a place of love and trying to help you be a better person, or trying to help you, reach a goal that you're trying to reach, or whatever it might be. That's the place that it's coming from. And I think that's what makes those conversations easier. And I think it spreads. It's like once, you have a healthy relationship with someone else where you're holding them accountable, you'll start to see them do the same thing in their lives with other people that they care about as well. So, um, but yeah.
Absolutely. But this is going to conclude the accountability episode for the April edition of the Kings Cort podcast. You got anything to say before we have to get up out of here?
No, it's a good conversation, man. People got to start practicing what they preach. That's really what it comes down to.
Mm.
It's easy to just talk about it, but you actually gotta be about it as well. So
I can agree with that. What you got anything to say, Don?
Just piggyback off what he said. Just got to practice what you preach. Um, It's not enough to just come on here and talk about, oh, this need to change, that need to change, and we get off of here and it's completely opposite. We have to be the change that we want to see in our community. And when I talk about our community, we talk about the Black community, because right now we're not in a good place. I'm just gonna be honest. I know some people they not gonna be happy about that comment, but I gotta tell the truth. We're not in a good place right now, and we have not been in a good place for a long time. Like, this isn't brand new. This isn't anything that just occurred. We've been in this state for a long time. Good morning, Mom. But it's up to us to be that change. It's up to us to be that change. And I'm gonna have to charge my mom for being late. But yeah. Other than that, this is a fantastic episode, great episode. This is an episode that needs to happen more often. I'm pretty sure we're going to have these episodes more often, because I'm pretty sure something else is going to happen that, somebody's going to push away accountability. So yeah. Absolutely. Awesome episode. Awesome.
Love this episode. Well, until next time, this has been the episode of Kings Cort Podcast. We appreciate all of you that tuned in, and enjoy the rest of your day. Go Hawks, go Lakers. My boys are Lakers fans.
Go Rockets. Go Rockets. End it. End it, please.
Right.
I'm so sick and tired of these optimistic Lakers talking about, oh, we got a chance. Shut up. Enjoy your summer.
All right, y'all. Enjoy y'all morning.
Peace.
Exactly, Frank.
He said we did
4-0. This is LeBron and friends. It's over. 2018 all over again. It's over. It's done.
All right, y'all.